What's up, team, and welcome to the Kaisa Show. We have a fun little random episode. We're just catching up on a lot of things today. But before we begin, Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Are you?
I'm surviving, I would say. You know, there's a lot going on. Got like mom in town, son out of school, that's going on for 3 weeks now, which has been kind of wild. I'm realizing a lot that like I need space.
Oh, yeah. You're just now realizing that?
I know. Well, here's the thing. It hasn't been tested, over the last couple of years. Like we've got...
It wasn't tested in COVID?
No, it was mandatory space. You know what I'm saying? So like you kind of...
Oh, you need space from others.
Yeah.
Oh. Other outside of just your family?
Yeah, just in general.
Oh,
yeah,
life is...
It kind of like, there's a tipping point for me where I'm too busy. Like there's too many obligations. There's too many people I got to keep up with. And I think I just kind of realize, I think I'm at that tipping point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also think coming out of COVID, like we all were surviving that and got through that, learning how to isolate and be on our own. And also for some of us, and probably a lot of people, realizing how much good that did for us. And so coming out of this and being crazy busy and kind of like, because the world is opening up, we're all like, let's go.
Yes.
And I am in that same exact boat too of like, no, I can't go.
Or you
24/7.
think you want to, and then there's something inside that kind of feels a little anxious or like this is too much.
Yeah.
Summer too, it's like the last couple summers, there was really, for us at least, we didn't really have any plans because everything was, unknown. And so now though, our whole summer has been kind of booked for the last like couple months. And so I've like new things have popped up where I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, maybe we could do that in July. No, not July. Maybe, okay, yeah, August. No, that's booked too. September. Okay, half of September's already taken up. Okay.
And then River's back at school.
And then,
it's the claustrophobic schedule.
Yeah, that's what it is. Is that like a thing? I've never heard that.
No, I just
came up with that?
Yeah.
That's
rubbing
totally
off on me.
what it is. The claustrophobic schedule. Yeah, it's like all these appointments are coming in at all angles. That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how I'm doing. How are you doing?
I'm in the same exact boat as you. Okay, before we get into all this though, can we just go back?
Sure.
To start with I think we're going to start with what always grounds us.
Yeah, which is...
Now it's time for What's Buzzin'. What's a buzzin', bub?
Literally the best thing ever. Puts me in a good mood.
Yes.
Are you going to start with what's buzzing?
No, you got to start.
Oh, I'm starting. Yeah. Okay. Mine is like a little bit of an off buzz because normally I think we talk about products so other people can benefit from our buzz.
It's a buzz off.
Yeah, mine's a buzz off because it's a selfish buzz.
Okay.
Because I just want to tell you what I'm buzzing on. I'm getting a tattoo.
Oh, yes.
And for you, Mike has the most beautiful tattoo that probably has 2 more sessions to go. Yeah. Well, you have a lot of tattoos, but you have a brand new one. And we go to the same tattoo artist. Shout out to Brian. And I have been wanting this tiger on my leg, but I just didn't want to commit.
We talked about it for a while.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And I went to go see Brian and it's official. I have my tattoo date on the books.
When is it?
July 28th.
Okay.
And it's probably going to take more than one session because it's going to be a pretty big tiger.
For sure it is.
With more things. The amazing thing, this is what's wild about my tattoos now. Well, this one and then the next one coming. I am a control freak. But when it comes to tattooing my body, I want no control. I literally just said to Brian, I know kind of I want a tiger. I want her to be feminine. I don't want it scary. But can you just freestyle? Can you just do your artwork on me? And that's how the chest piece was.
It's probably nice to just give up that control in certain things. I mean, that is a strange place to sort of give up control and on a permanent mark on your body. Yeah. But, you're kind of also, you're a little risky.
I am risky.
So you're kind of rolling the dice.
I don't think it's rolling the dice with Brian, though. He's so good. And for me, I think it actually is a practice in letting go of my perfectionism because then it's just kind of it's never probably going to be the image that I have in my head anyways. Yeah. So it's much better to walk in and be like, I just want your art on my body and I'm excited about what it's going to be. And he's an amazing artist. So I wouldn't just suggest doing this to any tattoo artist.
Don't just pop in. Yeah, you've got a relationship. There's a long lineage of like my network that has gone
Mike's
through Brian.
entire body is by Brian, so I know
Yeah.
it's been fully vetted.
He's
but
got like
yeah.
a resume.
Yeah.
I am a part. Yeah, I'm like on his resume.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Everything is, except for what, 2 of yours?
One.
One.
Just one. It was the first one I got.
Okay, and if you haven't seen Mike, it's not like Mike has like 1 or 2 tattoos. I think you're just now realizing this. Mike is fully tatted, people.
Tatted. It's weird. It just, the thing continues to where I still don't identify that way. And then you see yourself and you're like, oh, Jesus, I feel like I got a lot of tattoos. And it used to be I only had tattoos on the right side of my body. So if I took a photo from the left, like a profile, it looks like I have 0 tattoos. Now the left arm,
Fully tatted.
the left leg, I'm sure is not far behind. But it's also weird when we were in Costa Rica recently, I started seeing pictures of myself like Priya would post and from the back, right? And I see that I've got like 2 sleeves and it, for the first time ever, I was like, oh, my back kind of looks.
Oh, because you have nothing on the back.
Nothing on the back. So then you start going like, oh, that kind of looks
Wait,
like
do you
a work
see
in
your
progress.
sleeves?
Yeah. It's like a nice cut. It's cool.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm kind of wearing like a cut off.
top?
Yeah. But it's weird because I never. I think just seeing yourself in a picture, sometimes you have a totally different vision of how you see yourself without looking at yourself, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, there's like a lot of room for tattoos back there. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like it happens. Like there's like I want to say it's an addiction, but maybe it is. I don't know what that is.
Well, I thought I was never going to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
So now that I'm like ready to go, I already know where I want
one.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, technically, this is the second one. The first one we don't talk about.
Oh, yeah. Well, now, though, being on the podcast, this is where we really peel back the layers.
Am I going to admit?
Here it is. Oh, my God. All right.
Okay. I'm really red right now.
Let's talk about what it says.
Okay. I had one tattoo in cursive writing across my ass. I got it with my sisters, and it was supposed to say, because we're all Finnish, so, from Finland, and it was supposed to say,
Did it say finished?
No, I do want to start by saying I think I was like 18 or 19. It says it wrong.
Oh, yeah. That's right. What does it say,
I can't believe I'm admitting this.
This is good.
It says, it's supposed to say Finnish sisters, but there's like, it's slightly spelled wrong some way. And so my younger sister and I there's 3 of us total. My younger sister and I had got it done, and my older sister was getting it on her wrist. And my dad called like, no,
Oh.
that's spelled wrong. What are you doing?
Oh, God.
And then Raya was like, do I get it spelled wrong to match with you guys?
Ooh.
Or do I get it spelled right? And so we just, hers is on her wrist. We you have to spell it right.
Oh, so it's...
So, Hannah, I'm sorry to put you on blast, but my younger sister and I have it spelled wrong. And it's so embarrassing for my dad. I mean, I'm half Finnish. I should know.
Yeah. A couple things there.
Uh-oh.
I mean, that's fun. No, it's actually kind of less about the tattoo is great.
But I just want to be honest.
Yeah.
I think only a handful of people know that, and now the whole podcast world
but doesn't it feel good to let that go? Just let it out there.
I guess.
Because who cares?
And I'll have Brian cover it up soon.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, first of all, Finnish Sisters. That just sounds like the name of like a trio, like a group, right? And then I could see like the name of the album is "Getting Shit Done" by the Finnish Sisters.
Okay, not the finished sisters.
No.
The Finnish.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so slow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that hit me so
The
late.
Finnish Sisters. I could see you kind of like in overalls with like a sledgehammer, getting shit done.
Yes.
Maybe we can mock that up.
Oh my gosh, that'd be really
That'd
cool.
be kind of fun. The other thing I was thinking about, I don't know if we've talked about on the podcast before or just in person, those lines are starting to really blur. Well, I guess the podcast is in person, but like off the podcast, is Finland looks so dope. I saw a show the other night on, like, they went to Finland, and it's like, the stat was, they said it's like the happiest place on earth. I don't know how the hell they come up with that stat. They're like, prime minister or president was like a young woman.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? This place
Yeah.
looks amazing. Like they have all these like saunas. It's so
Yeah.
up my alley. I
Yeah.
want to go to Finland.
Oh, we should podcast in Finland. So it's wild. So I am fully half Finnish. I have never, hopefully my dad's not listening to this. I have never been drawn to go to Finland at all. Like there is nothing in my blood or body that's like, go to Finland.
That's why I'm bringing it up. I didn't want to say that because I didn't know if Juicy was like
big juice.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think he knows I've been real. But it's interesting because one, I have a friend who just left 2 days ago to go to Finland and I was supposed to go with her. And randomly I've been having so many conversations with people who have gone to Finland sometime or another and said it's one of their most favorite places they've ever gone. So I'm like,
it looks dope.
I know I just need to go. And then, I feel like maybe I'll come alive when I'm there. Or I'll like find a missing part.
Yeah, your
for me.
roots will
My
just
roots.
start sprouting.
Yeah.
You won't want to go home.
I'll understand, where I came, maybe understand myself a little deeper.
Maybe.
I don't know.
At any rate, I
Yeah.
was really blown away by
Yeah.
how cool
Yeah.
Finland looked. What is it? Is it Helsinki? Is that
Yep.
their like main? Is that the capital?
I don't
Or
know
is
if
it
it's
like
the capital,
a big
but it's
city?
definitely their main.
Yeah, that's where they were. It
Yeah.
looked cool. It just
Yeah.
looked like people weren't just like smiling all the time. It wasn't that kind of happy. We both just had a little burp break.
No,
there.
I didn't burp.
Yours is
Correction.
totally a burp.
No,
You just
I
did it
didn't.
off the mic.
I coughed.
You're always burping.
I'm not burping. Team, no, I'm not.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like it's just kind of like I forget how they measure the happiness, but I think it's something. It's not like I think when you say that, like, oh, it's the happiest country. That like my thought immediately was like, oh, everyone's just smiley. But in the show, they actually even addressed it. They're like, it's not like everyone's just like smiling all the time. It's just they have services for everybody. Like it's just
That's what I was gonna say. They really take care
Yeah.
of their people. There's like this insane maternity and paternity leave. Like there's all of these things that they do that I think a lot the rest of, or definitely us, should take note of.
Yeah.
In the U.S.
I
So.
don't,
Yeah.
I'm losing hope.
Also,
in a
what's
lot of that
wild,
anymore.
just a random little tangent. My younger brother and sister are actually dual citizens. For some reason, my older sister and I are not, even though so many people I've talked to now say there's no way your siblings can be dual citizens and not
Yeah.
you. So I'm
You
gonna,
could get it, I bet.
Yeah, but
because
there
I have
was-
friends who have done it for
Really?
like. I had a friend of mine did it for Italy, and it's depending on the country, like it can be a really long process. But the fact that like if you already have family,
Miko and Han are both
Yeah.
dual citizens. Obviously, my dad is a citizen. Yeah.
oh my god, you need to
I
get
know.
on that.
It's an EU citizenship.
you could
Yeah.
just go and work and
Yes,
oh
bro.
my god,
Retire. Fucking next thing I know, I'm living in Finland.
yeah, and you are finished.
And I am
So
getting
stupid.
shit done. Okay, can we move on?
We can. That was fun.
Sorry.
that was fun.
Well,
that was funnish. Just dropping them like they're hot. Feeling good.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, moving on.
So tattoo though, you're getting a tattoo.
Tattoo.
It's of a tiger, a tigress, if you will.
tigress crawling
I'm
down my
excited.
leg.
Yes, yes. Actually, this is good. I'm glad that was your buzz. You know why? Because my buzz is connected to your buzz.
How?
I have a buzz in distress. The buzz is a potential buzz, which I don't know if you have to own the buzz to be buzzing on it, or if it's just the buzz is that you're interested either in doing or getting the thing, or you are interested and you have.
Let's clarify
What
it
do you
right now.
think?
I think the buzz is something that's just buzzing in our brains.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Like something you're into. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you.
Or something that's taking up a lot of,
Yeah. Oh,
space
God.
or noise.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is definitely
Oh,
a
okay.
buzz, but it's a buzz in distress. Okay, so I'm getting tattooed recently with Brian, and we just talk. Like all of our sessions are about 4 hours. That's pretty standard. It's like 4 hours, and we talk about everything you can imagine because you have 4 hours to.
And
just
Brian's
sit-
like your best friend.
Yeah,
so,
Brian's my best friend. We can just talk about anything and everything, and. It started actually because I think I said it a couple weeks ago even, like that I'm trying to do more photography. It's like this art that I sort of always struggle with, my love-hate with it. And then right now I'm back on, like I'm loving it. And I told him that that it's always been a dream to sort of like go on a cool trip of something of like, whether it's like snowboarding or motorcycling or something like that visually looks cool and just document it from beginning to end. Because it's like all those moments of like the broke down bike on the side of the road in the desert and the dead snake, or, like all these things, like those moments. I love that like journalistic, like unfolding.
National Geographic.
Yeah. I mean, sure. But
I'm sorry, did I just ruin your buzz?
that's like a little bit more like, like what do I want to say? There's like, it's very like political, mostly National Geographic,
Okay,
which is
wrong
fine.
thing.
I'm just like, I don't want to have all that on my back.
Okay.
Like, I mean, and though that's a high bar. I just want to like go do something dirt baggy and like document it for a week, right?
Okay.
But get paid for it.
Okay.
Kind of a low bar dream, really. So I told Brian this. I was like, yeah, kind of like this. And I showed him this Instagram of, it's called Wilderness for anybody that wants to look it up. And it's like this group, it's kind of meatheadish. That's not what I like about it, but it's these motorcycle trips that these guys take in like Yosemite, like these amazing like national parks. And they take all these like back roads, right? Because you're on a motorcycle. And I tell him about these. He's like, I'll get a fucking motorcycle with you. And I was like, Brian, are you serious? And he was like, fuck yeah, man. And I was like, dude, you just unlocked something. I was like, you can't say that though if you're not serious, because what it does to me, you know me. I start going, I'm already buzzing. Did you just lose a nail?
No, but I love this for you. It did hit me really hard.
So I'm like, are you serious? He's like, oh yeah, I used to have a bike, blah, blah. We were officially buzzing, right?
And you've ridden a bike before, right?
I used to have like a crappy bike, yeah. And I've like ridden dirt bikes and stuff. I actually had a dirt bike too. I'm not like a motorcyclist, right? But I've definitely had bikes. I can hop on a bike. I know how to ride a bike. But okay, so I'm buzzing. I've already known because this came up years ago where another friend of mine had a bike and I started being like, maybe I should get a bike. That'd be fun. And to be clear, the kind of bike I want is called a dual sport or adventure bike where it can go on-road or off-road. And the reason why I'm so intrigued by it is because it's like, it's a fucking adventure, right?
Yeah.
Like you get on the ferry, you don't have to wait in line, you get off, you're on
my
two
dad
lane.
does this.
No, oh
yes.
my God.
My dad's wild bike guy.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going rabbit hole. It's just unfolding. I'm looking up the bikes already.
I love this for you.
The bikes are actually affordable for the one I want. Everything's lining up, right? Okay, here's the buzz in distress. Brian's wife, Mary, I mean, I'm not just totally right now. She's like one of my best friends. But she was like, Mike, do you think this guy, what are you going to do if he dies? Because
Brian dies?
Because she brought up the point how dangerous they are. And when they, hopefully this isn't too personal, but like he had a bike and she was like, no, you can't be having a bike when we're about to have a family. And I'm like, I didn't even think about like the dangers, right? I was just pure on that adventure. Brian and I camping, killing snakes and having fires and blah, blah. I start looking up the stats and I'm like, oh, fuck. Motorcycles are dangerous. You're like 28 times more likely to like die in an accident on a motorcycle than a car, all these stats, right? So that was my distress the other day. It totally like flipped me around. And no knock to Mary, she brings up a great point.
Yeah.
She also wasn't being like a buzz kill. She was just like, she was kind of like seriously, like,
but I think there's a certain time, in which like your children are raised maybe, and you decide that you want to do that. So let's bring it down a notch. But can't you go in your RV or like do something like that?
What?
Maybe go on your little adventures.
Just
the
in my
point was
RV.
the motorcycle.
Yeah. I mean, so now it's going to unfold. This is a long buzz. I already warned you, right?
No.
So the thing is though, okay, so anyway, so then I'm there, but then I start thinking like we can be responsible though, right? Like not to say invincible, but like you can do things, like a lot of things are dangerous, right?
Just don't race on the freeway.
Yeah, and like, or drink or like ride at night if you can avoid it, blah, blah, blah. There's things to do. So I took a little step back from the butt, just like pump the brakes a little, got a nice realistic idea or snapshot of what it's like to ride a motorcycle, right? All those things. I still think I'm still feeling good about it though. I got to say, I talked to Brian yesterday and I mean, I think we're going to do a course in like September. And then here's the other thing, Taylor, our designer on the team, she went on a little trip recently and I saw her little bike and then I was asking her questions and she was all loving it and I was like, oh yeah, I'm back. So I'm buzzing on a Kawasaki KLR. It's like this tried and true adventure bike from like the last 30 years.
I am going to text my dad. I know nothing, but
Yeah.
that sounds so familiar.
It's kind of like what they say is it's a 7 at everything and a 10 at nothing. And I love that. Like, it's reliable. It's all the things. Anyways, super excited. I think I'm still going down that route.
I love this for you. So I hope Mary and Priya don't come after me. I'm saying this but because I think everything in life is a bit of a risk.
Totally.
But like the adventure of that, I do understand that you all have children, and so you have to weigh that. But
I did tell Mary though, like, if Brian dies, like, I will do all the house chores. If we both die, we will leave behind some sort of insurance policy that will pay for some young person to come do that for them.
because that's what they're worried about.
Yeah,
if you guys die, it's just the house chores.
No, I know.
I mean, what was Priya saying? Was she worried about
Priya
it?
doesn't even
Think
she
that
doesn't
way.
flinch on anything anymore. Cause I think she's just like, yeah, okay, another thing that you're into. Like, she's so, I think, just numb to my excitement of like all the things that I've been into.
Yeah.
Which sort of brings me to the point of like, why am I always trying to like do something new?
No, but we've had these conversations. This is going to go on another bird walk because I feel like we share that. We're always looking for the next thing that's going to like bring meaning to life or like bring adventure, give us a feeling about something.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the way that it's never going to end.
I know. So I'm trying to like, am I making peace with that? Or do I just make peace with like, I don't need to do the things, it's hard for me to, when I get into it, I just get so into it.
But Mike, some of the process of this, of just trying to figure it out, is part of what you probably enjoy. Like,
it's almost more,
Yeah.
or at least equal of the figuring it out and the diving in. And here's the thing with like the motorcycle thing, I like know nothing. So aside, like, I've ridden bikes, but I didn't know anything about them really.
Yeah.
So now it's like this whole new world that I'm like, oh, here's a cool Facebook group where people are talking about it. Oh, here's how you mod it. Here's the new one. Here's the old one. Here's places you go. Here's the endorsement you have to get, like.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Also, that's a lot of really good, interesting content for the show. So I'm highly encouraging this. Would you guys be gone for like weeks, months?
No,
What?
I mean, I think like realistically, so the thing that I struggle with now is I'm like, well, I want to surf more. So I'm like, should I just put this energy into like surfing more? But like, I don't know, it's different. I think we would do, it's like weekend trips, but you never know.
Are you okay over there?
No, I have like digestion issues from stress.
Oh, sorry to bring that up. You know what you need? You need a little bit of a Thorn probiotic.
I'm taking it.
Or whatever.
I'm already taking that.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, it helps, but
Clearly
yeah,
not.
not 100%. But yeah, I think they're like weekend trips for the most part. But I could see like, I don't want to be on the highway. I mean, I don't even like driving my camper on the highway. It's just like not fun. And people are assholes and like, it's just so stressful. So I think every moment would be trying to get to some sort of like 2-lane or fire road, right?
Cool.
Like, so weekend adventures, and who knows though, I think the other thing that I was gonna say is like, you don't have to have your bike to ride in adventure. So like, as long as you know how to ride a bike and you have your license, you could go on like epic trips in like South America, Baja, Europe, where you just go rent the bike. It's part of a deal. And if you know how to do it. But so I think that kind of adventure would be so fucking cool though.
Let's ask the team. What are your thoughts of your team? Should Mike, let me just also preface, Mike is River turning 5?
He's 5 next
5?
week. Yeah. This week.
5 this week, and Brian and Mary have 2 children.
Yeah,
so that I
they're a
think
little
that's
older.
what comes into play here.
Yeah.
I think if you guys didn't have children, I think it's like, go live
For
your life
sure.
and do what you want.
And the odds, I think anything though, it's like there's the odds, there's like the risk where it's like things are definitely more dangerous. But then you have like, but you can die doing anything, right? I
Yeah.
might get fucking cancer. Who knows? Like,
God.
anything. But I mean, like there's nothing ever for sure. So I think you balance it out with like how dangerous versus how like purposeful or like how much joy would that thing bring you, right? Snowmobiling I saw is actually a higher danger rate. Because then I was like, okay, what are the other things I do? I don't snowmobile, but I would just to have that where people are like motorcycles are death traps. I was like, so are snowmobiles.
Oh, you literally were just Googling like
what
comebacks.
else? Yeah, like what? I just go motorcycle danger versus, and then Google fills in, jet skis. Jet skis are actually less dangerous. But I think people ride, like you don't commute on a jet ski. You don't
No,
commute
and there's
on
a lot less
snowmobile.
traffic.
Yeah, you're
to be
not on
out
a
there.
highway.
Yeah.
So
Long story short, I literally think life is about the adventures that you're going to go take. And part of your adventure is like figuring out the adventure.
Yeah.
And you are somebody that likes that. So,
I like that you support.
I fully support. But Priya
Yeah.
and Mary, I'm so sorry. You can come after me. But I support it in terms of like just doing what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
Or putting the energy into figuring out whether or not at some point down the road you might decide you don't want to. And
Totally.
that's fine.
And do it safely. I think that's the other thing is like not every, it's kind of like whether to start working out, like, or whether to start playing a sport. Like you can just jump right into it and you're going to get like injured or you have the higher risk
Yeah.
of that. But it's like, there's so many courses, there's so many ways to sort of like minimize. It's not getting rid of risk, but you minimize risk, right? I'm not a wheelie popping kind of like guy. No, that's just not me.
You're also you're not a fast driver. So.
No, I'm not. Like, I'm a pretty safe guy.
Grandpa. Yeah, he is a safe guy.
Last
Fun
words.
guy, safe guy.
Old slow driving Mike drove himself right into a ditch. That would suck.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie. Can we edit my laughs out? It's
No
so
way.
bad.
They're so good. They bring so many people joy.
No,
I
it's
want
so
to
terrible.
I want a soundboard of them because there's this one on a couple episodes back where it's just like, it was a machine gun. It was like, I love laughs. They're so good. That's like one of my favorite things to do is just laugh.
Just laugh.
And you always are laughing over there. Sound like Goofy. Which, wow. Your Goofy
That's right.
impression, I watched back when I did Goofy, and you started just doing it, and you're like, well, that's a great impression, Mike. You kind of just had this old twang. It was good.
Well, that's probably my Southern belle that I bring out occasionally on camera for you.
Yes.
Who do you say I always am?
No, you got Midwest Maisie.
Midwest
I haven't really
Maisie.
heard Southern. It is Southern. No, anyways, we're
You also, when I
digressing.
got angry the other day, you said Southern accent started coming out.
That's
so,
true. So
Yeah.
it's like Southern sass, and then Midwest Maisie is a little bit more like fan, like cheerleader. Like she just loves to get the people moving, But then Southern sass is like what?
Southern sass was
Throw an
not
apple at
having
your
it.
face. Yeah.
If I start getting a little Southern accent, you better run.
Yes, and I did,
Yeah, you
and
did.
here we are.
You didn't run. You actually wheeled away.
Yes, that's true. Which, okay, let's just, because this is a random show, let's just put that out there. So I'm on an electric skateboard called a one wheel recently. You good?
I'm waiting for my dad to tell you.
Oh, okay,
but he,
cool.
But he did.
And I'm very confident, like, okay, this thing goes about 15 miles an hour, right? And I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, Kaisa will probably run like 8-9 miles an hour. This is great. I can move behind her, forward, whatever. Filming for an upcoming promo.
Oh, yeah, wait. No, team, get this picture. He is on a one-wheel wheelie board that's going very fast, and he's crouched down recording me.
Filming with my camera, yeah. And so you start running, and I'm like, oh,
Jogging.
shit, I can't fucking... Okay, yeah, jogging.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's actually important clarification. And I'm like feeling what is called pushback on the skateboard, which is basically saying slow down a little bit or else it's going to like deactivate and you're going to go flying. So that freaks me out. And I'm like, hold on, what is happening? Like so I look and it said I was going 12.2 miles an hour in Gazelle over here. I could not catch up with. So it's like, is your jog like 13 miles an hour?
Yeah, I don't know if that thing is accurate, but yeah,
Oh, no,
I was
it's-
definitely jogging.
So when you on a treadmill, don't they stop at like 10 or do they go beyond 10?
No, I think they go to 16.
Okay.
10
This
is
blows
the
my
incline, I
mind.
think.
How fast do you think you can run miles per hour? Like
I think fast.
like if you were really going like 15 miles an hour, you think?
I don't know. We should try it one day.
I guess
I don't know.
my time, like anytime I've ever done miles per hour on like running for me, it's like 6 is fast on the treadmill. Like that's my like, I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty like, I'm cooking, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're going 10, 12, like you are twice what is cooking for me, which is, and the
I
whole
think your
thing
treadmill's
was,
not that
you were
accurate.
jogging. You were like, I had you do it like 10 times.
Yeah, we're definitely jogging. I think at track, I'm a little bit more,
Bouncy, agile,
I was like
gazelle-like.
remembering my high school
Yeah.
track days.
That was crazy. Why the hell are we talking about this?
I don't know.
How did this come up?
I don't know. I can't remember. Honestly, I'm so sorry, team. We're going to bring it back in. So many bird walks today.
How did that happen?
Where are we even going today?
Okay, I don't know. Okay, so anyways, we'll put a pin in that because we just had memory lapse, and that's okay.
Does a pin in that mean we're like going to deflate it?
No, it means we'll come back to it if we can remember it. Hopefully, we forget about it because it's probably not that interesting anyways. Yeah.
not
So anyways, those are the buzzes.
Too many.
That was you running really fast the other day, which was mind-blowing.
This is us, our minds running away from us.
Yes.
Bring it back in.
Bring it back. Should we do some sort of we need like a hard transition, something like...
Oh, that makes me feel like I'm in the club.
Yeah, trigger. Give me a drink.
Exactly. That's it.
Okay, so you were just going to say what we're going to do. I don't know if...
Are we going to take a question?
Oh,
I
we can
thought
do
we were
that.
going to transition to just you and I stop talking for 1 second.
Let's do first. I thought it would be kind of cool because when we started the podcast, it was actually called the Just Move podcast, which was, I don't know, 20-ish episodes ago. And then we had a meeting and we're like, yo, it shouldn't be the Just Move. I think this is going to be bigger than Just Move. I think there's more going on than to just sort of be in that one.
It's bigger than Just Move.
Yeah, well,
it's Kaisa.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Team, I didn't decide that.
Bigger
okay, he
umbrella,
did.
right? Because
Okay.
Just Move is under Kaisa, right? There's an
yeah.
umbrella. So I thought it'd be interesting just to kind of give a quick, we always talk about what we're up to or we're busy and whatnot, but I think it's kind of become a little bit more clear on what we're doing for us, right? At least temporarily. Who knows when that'll change. But just saying that it'd be kind of fun to just, I guess, talk about Just Move, which is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Start Moving, which is what we're doing, and Smart Training. Just high level. You don't have to go super into it, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting.
I love
because a lot of people might not know.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the thing. The goal of everything we do is to get the world moving. And if you're moving, to get you moving more and feeling better in your body. And so as we've started to grow as a company, in the very beginning, it was Just Move, and we wanted to have movement for everybody on that platform. And really, I think one of the things that we do the best as a team is we really listen and grow really fast. Mm-hmm. And so when we had Just Move, what we realized was the human being that we call the start mover, the human being that's just getting into movement, a true beginner, wasn't really feeling like Just Move was a perfect place for them. We were really realizing they were getting lost in the mix, and we wanted to create something uniquely for them. And so we've separated that out. We now have Start Moving, which is a product that goes into a subscription. It's amazing. We love it. Then we have Just Move. And what that did for Just Move was allow us to really focus on that more, advanced beginner to intermediate to advanced crew that really enjoys fun and creative at-home programs. That our Summer Sweat just launched, all these things that are just really fun ways to move without having the pressure of trying to change the way that you look. And then that gave room for Smart Training, which was, more in the way that I like to train inside of the gym, the more very advanced performance, results-based in terms of how you want to perform and change the way that you're performing. So that led to that. And now we have all three companies essentially going. And I really feel like we're then servicing all of these different groups of people, which we originally set out to do.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing about, honestly, it's kind of nice too, because I think a lot of people who are listening are either trainers or, fitness enthusiasts themselves. And I think it's interesting to it's not always clear. We think it's clear when we know what we have going on, but it so gets lost in the mix of what we're actually doing and who it's for. Mm-hmm. And I think so Just Move is sort of for that person who knows to move, is looking for, movement to be they don't have to come up with the programming. It's something fun.
At home, so not a lot of equipment. It's follow along.
Yeah. And then Start Moving is for that person who's like either never moved before, hasn't moved in a really long time. So if you know that kind of person who's always saying it's like, oh, I tried this and tried that, like that's who we design Start Moving for, which is, and we're breaking it out, which is cool, into like a 30-day or a 4-week program.
Challenge, yeah.
That starts, it's just 5 minutes a day. It starts in a chair, then it moves up and it sort of progresses. And it's not just like, hey, dive in, you're working out for 20, 30 minutes a day. Let's get you fit. Let's get you, off the couch. That's not the vibe at all. It's like, hey, let's build a habit. Let's get you to understand movement and enjoy it.
Understand your body, understand how things feel. And a lot of times I think for the Start Mover, many people who are not moving are actually not moving because they're in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And something that helps pain so much is movement. I know it seems counterintuitive, and so it's really recognizing that we wanted to meet people where they're at. And just like Mike was saying, we have 5-minute workouts that are in a chair. You never even stand up. And so that's where we start. And then we stand up and then we add from there. But the point is, when we set out, we had a huge, lofty goal of getting the world to move more with weight loss and changing the way that you look, nowhere in sight. Mm-hmm. We just really have always wanted to help people move more, to feel better in their body, to bring joy to movement. And I think for us, it's just because we knew that was our North Star and our goal, we just have been willing to roll with the punches. And the more that we are out here doing it and creating programs, the more that we're learning, the more that we're separating, and that's where we're at now, but we might not be there in a few months. Who knows? Yeah.
And it is cool, though, to have each of them as their own standalone brand, because then it's like the way I always describe it, Start Moving versus Just Move. It's like if you're trying to talk to everybody and there's people moving like an intermediate or advanced at a gym and you're a true beginner and you walk in and that's how everyone's moving. They're like, no, we have a spot over here for you too, but you have to walk past the other people. Like that vibe, like it's so much better if they just walk in and they see themselves already and they only see what they'll be doing. So I think that has been helpful. Honestly, if anything, it's been helpful for us to know how to talk. We can talk specifically to the Start Mover. We can talk specifically to the Just Mover, and we can talk specifically to the Smart Mover. Smart.
But they're all smart, but yeah. And I think for us too, it's like we are such a small team trying to wear so many hats and juggle so many things that the clearer that we can get, the better we can be at each thing that we do. So it's a fun phase to be in, to be able to do all of the different things, because we're very fulfilled by being able to well, maybe not everyone. I am very fulfilled because as crazy as it is, especially if you see me on social media, you see how I move one way, which is much more like the Smart Trainer. But I love coaching the Start Movers and the Just Move team and creating these like really fun experiences with movement. And I'm very passionate about that. So I'm getting fed in so many different places now. It feels really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I love being able to not try to, like, as someone who creates media, like the hardest thing is always like when you try to say everything, you end up saying nothing.
Yeah.
And so it's so nice to just be really specific and then we have the podcast.
Yeah. Oh,
There's that too. So that's
so
the other,
many things.
which has become, a weekly thing, which is cool. So.
Yeah. And then I just want to bring it back to Just Move and Start Moving and Smart Training. We do always want to keep hearing from the team, though, because ultimately at the end of the day, we are creating this based on what we hear from people and the feedback and the input and the reviews. So again, an easy place to go is KaisaFit.com/ask, and you can leave us questions, comments, concerns. If you are a part of Just Move or Start Moving or Smart Training, and you want to see something that's not there, like let us know. You can also DM me. I'm very much in there and I'm listening to the team. But ultimately, we are building this to help more people move. So we do want to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That's a good little segue.
Oh.
Now I can't remember if the one that came in. So I wanted to go to a listener question.
Oh.
But now I'm having a hard time remember which one it is.
Oh. Can we play a few?
We only have two that I wanted to, or we had one really that I wanted to play.
Okay.
I just got to think about which is the right one.
We always want to play everybody's questions. It's just certain ones fit in with certain.
Yeah. I think I'm going to roll with this one.
Okay.
See what happens. I'm pretty sure this is the one I
pressure.
wanted to play. Let's see what happens. And if not, then we just, we answer this one. Yeah. Here we go.
Hey, Kaisa and Mike. Loving the podcast. It is awesome. Kaisa, I've been a fan for many years. have been following you to hopefully change my mindset towards movement and my own weight in a more positive light. So I think it's working. Thanks. But I have a question around patients, specifically with workout programs. So I'm working on a program right now, and I tend to, whenever I start these programs, get really excited, and then in a couple weeks when I don't really see any real like solid results, get a little upset and disappointed. And so I was just curious to hear from you. How do you stay patient? How do you stay focused? And then ultimately, how do you know when the program isn't really working for you and you should change? So thanks.
That's the one I wanted.
That is so good. That's such a good question. I feel like we could talk about this for hours. So the number one thing I will say is, what result are you looking for?
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing, because, and I'll just speak from my perspective. When I train, the number one result I'm looking for is just to feel good and to have fun. And secondary, like right now, I'm on the road to 400 with a deadlift. So there are some performance results that I want, but number one, it is to feel good, gives me more energy, and to enjoy what I'm doing. And so I think if you are doing a program and you're not realistic with yourself about the results you're hoping to get, that's where that kind of patience starts to get tested. Because a lot of us can say, and I will say this not because I'm questioning where she's at, but because I know I've been there many times, and I think I've seen a lot of clients there. You can say that I'm doing a program and I'm working out and I don't really care what I look like. And like, it's kind of like that conversation you're having outwardly, but then inwardly, you are like, I'm working my ass off and I should have a 6-pack by now. I should have lost 10 pounds. So the two are not going together. You're not really being that honest with yourself about the situation and why you're doing the program and why you're moving. And so I would just say that is the real question, is get in touch with the results. And of course, I'm always encouraging running away from results that have to do with changing the way that you look and trying to find a relationship with results that help you just feel really, really good in your body and help you, feel energized and feel excited about coming into the gym or, into the studio or wherever you're at on a relatively daily basis, not every single day. Mm-hmm. And then just like feeling good with it. And performance goals always help with that. And that's where I feel like smart training and everything else is like having performance goals so that you can have something that's measurable, because that helps to see the progress, to feel the progress. Whether that's like moves that you want to be able to do, or you want to be able to do a full pull-up or push-up, or you want to deadlift or squat, or have something that you can measure.
Yeah, I totally second. I mean, I think that's like, even if you are looking to change your body, it's likely not going to happen in 4 weeks, like what everybody sort of sells it as. And so it's like, it's already, you're like, it's not only like something we don't recommend, but it's also something that's like, most time it's not even realistic.
No.
So you're set up to just fail anyways. But what you're saying, like when I did like the snatch test for Strong First, like it was so measurable and the margins were thin. Like it wasn't like I was like, oh, I increased my kettlebell snatch by 20 pounds. It was so minimal of seeing I got 2 more reps after 3 weeks of training, but those 2 more reps
were everything.
Oh, they meant a lot,
yeah.
And I think, like the other thing I was just going to say is like, I've started to try to find a little trust in the experts that working out, like moving your body, if you're not doing it obviously like in a detrimental way, but like if you're moving your body, it is good for you. Yeah. Like it will be good for you in the long run. And you're not always going to be able to analyze or feel those things deep down. Kind of like sleep. That's another easy one where it's like, oftentimes I feel fine after 5 hours of sleep. And if I just go off of saying like, oh, I'm fine off 5 hours of sleep, but it's like scientifically proven that if you get 8 hours of sleep, you're like way better off. You'll add years to your life, reduce disease, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I kind of just have started to like put a little trust in, I don't need a result always. This is just part of who I am as a human, is moving. Yeah. And I know that it's better for me in the long run.
Yeah. And I think it's like taking note of all the things. We tend to take notes when things are like crappy or not going our way. And I also really try to take notes when I'm having a really energized day or I'm feeling really good. And those are the things that also help to reinforce that the things that I'm doing and I'm putting extra energy in, like movement and sleep and nutrition, all these things are like really, really adding up, and they're really important because I try not to take that for granted, right? I try not to just focus on like when it's a shitty day, what's going on and everything must be wrong. But like when it's a good day, what's happening? And I think for people, it's the hardest thing, because we are told that we need to look a certain way. And when we look that way, everything's going to fall in line and we're going to be so fucking happy. And it's a fucking lie. So it is your practice. It is your daily practice for the rest of your life. We're never going to reach that pinnacle moment, because I am one of the main women out here preaching I am more than my body. And I have to tell myself that every single day. So this is just a reminder to her and to everybody that you have to actively practice that every day. You have to actively remind yourself, just like you're in the gym doing those reps. You have to actively remind your body, your mind, when you're in the mirror, when you're breaking yourself apart, when you're saying, I don't look like that. I've done all this work. You have to then insert, but how do I feel? And there's something that happens when you're doing the most that you possibly can to take care of yourself. You're eating relatively well. You're working out as much as you can. You know, you're hydrating, you're sleeping. You just fucking feel good about the fact that you're taking care of yourself. And that is something we don't tend to value. And I think that that's what we should just start paying attention to. And those are the little things. No program's ever going to add up the way that you want it to, period. If that's what you're focused on. But there's so many other things that movement does for us. Yeah. And all the other things that we were mentioning. But yeah.
I like how you said be kind of like open to when you're feeling good, or like if you have that energy. Because actually yesterday I went for a trail run, and in my head I'm always like, I gotta go trail running and blah blah blah. First like 100 feet, I roll my ankle.
Oh my God.
And it fucking hurt.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing.
No, it is funny. It is. Because it's like I do all this stuff. And I rolled, and I was so angry at myself because I was like, I do all these things, and I come out here and I roll my ankle. I was so mad.
You weren't wearing the Vivos, were you?
No, I wasn't. No. But I was wearing some Ultras, though. They're dope. I like them. But I will say, I didn't stop. I just was like, okay, how does that actually feel? I slowed down a little bit. I paid a little bit more attention to the ground and like what I was doing. And within it like definitely was not moving through pain. Like I definitely was like, if I need to walk or like bag this, I'm totally fine with that. But like what just happened? Like there was the shock of it. And then as I'm starting to grow, I'm like, actually like I'm kind of fine. Like that hurt initially, and then it kind of went away. And I have no clue if this is related to any like training, but in my mind, I was like, you know what I think maybe is that like my body, like my feet, because I wear Vivos and because I, do these exercises and mobility and all these things, like maybe my foot was sort of like more injury resistant, if you will, like to where that could have been catastrophic had I not done all the other things I do.
Totally.
But because I do all those things and take care of myself, it was like I've never felt that before. And going like, oh, that's kind of a cool result that I would.
Of my work.
Yeah, like, oh, like I just had this moment where I literally felt like I could have broke my ankle. I rolled it so hard.
Yeah.
And then I did 3 miles. Right after, because it happened at the very beginning, and I was like, and it doesn't hurt today or anything. So I was like, that's cool. So there's little things like that, or mobility, like I do a lizard lunge kind of thing, mobility. And I've just recently noticed, this has been months and months and months of doing this, just because I kind of, we obviously you're like the mobility queen, do it. I don't always feel like after I do it, it's like, wow, I feel great. But it's this over time thing. And now I notice just like how easy my foot gets up to my hand with no like momentum or struggle. It's like controlled all the way up, which you also say, like when you slow down, can you control it? Like, can you stop in the movement? And I notice like I can have my foot sort of hovering mid movement from point A to point B. And I'm like, shit, that's new. Like I haven't had that. I don't know I don't apply that to like a grocery store situation. You know what I mean? But it feels good.
But that's amazing. But even you just pausing in that moment is like a positive rep to like remind yourself to keep doing those things. Totally. Because I think those are those moments we typically kind of glaze over, and then you go like, oh, but I want to be able to do this. And I am the worst at that. That's why it's so easy for me to talk about it. But what you're not ever knowing then is how that lizard and the mobility in your hips and the stability there actually helped when you rolled your, it's like
totally
all these things that add up to like, it's like your safety bubble around you that you would never even know because you do all of this work. And so that's where it's like, it's so hard. And I never want to stand here and just be like, come on, always be positive, people. Cause I am not always positive
Me
about
neither.
shit, especially with movement. Okay, I threw a fit yesterday. Like, I am not positive. I have expectations. I have certain things I get frustrated all the time. But I just think it's an active practice of showing up and being just, you know, aware and grateful that like you can do the things that you're attempting to do. And it's like physically how you feel and the challenges that you can set up for yourself and the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs and the roller coaster ride, but like really practicing that you are not your body and you're grateful for your body and the way that it shows up for you, but like what it looks like is not how you're defined. And that's practice for the rest of our lives, for everybody.
I never want to like continue the conversation because you're getting so good at these like wrap ups.
Oh,
They're so good where I'm
keep
like,
going.
fuck, that was like that perfect way to end it.
I love talking about this.
Yeah, I will say with both of those things though, like the ankle roll and like sort of avoiding the injury and then that mobility thing, both of those gave me a lot of motivation to keep doing it. You know, so for me, whether or not it was true, whether or not it does anything for me in other places, if at the very least, it just makes me go, hey, remember like that mobility that I have in my leg from doing this mobility? Like, just keep doing that mobility. Like it's making me do it more.
Also, just we're on tangents, but also it's a reminder when you can check in with when you're feeling good or when things are going good, you kind of like reinforce that somewhere in your brain and your body. And so when things are not going so good, like AKA I partied for 4 days and I feel like fucking shit when I show up at the gym last night, and it's a reminder to me because I remember what I feel like physically, mentally when I feel good. And when I feel like I can do all the things that I want to do and I have the energy to show up. And then it reinforces positive behavior for me because I'm like, I'm not fucking going to keep partying 24/7. You know what I mean? Like, so there's so many different ways in which showing up and being present in the positive, being present and grateful for your body and all these things help to reinforce all these other things in life. For me, that's just a little phase, right? Mike came walking through the door and I was like, I'm fucking done partying for a little while. And he's like, okay, when are you starting? And I was like, after I go to Cabo.
Yeah.
Starting in August.
Yeah, whatever.
But those are also like, it's always the gift of movement for me. And I always bring it back to this, but I'm like, it's such a place for me to explore my body, but to stay connected to my body and remind myself of like why I do all the extra things, why I really try to go above and beyond and take care of myself. Because when I'm feeling fucking good, it's a positive thing for me to like keep going that way. When I'm feeling fucking shitty, I try to go back to feeling good. Like I can't keep saying it enough to that woman. I already forgot her name. I'm so sorry. Paula?
Who was it
Shit.
actually? Did she say it?
I can't keep
I
saying
have it
enough
somewhere.
that you are searching for
Michelle.
a feeling. Michelle. I'm so sorry, Michelle. Shit. Health is a feeling. It is not a look. We are constantly in that search for that feeling for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And trying to run away from that fact that we need to look a certain way.
Yeah, that positive baseline is a good one to have.
Yeah.
So then you kind of know when you're off it. And then on the flip, when you have that negative baseline, you know, so you always just, and I feel that all, like anytime I have the baseline where it's like negative, like it tends to be around the holidays where it's like stressful and I'm eating poorly and not moving as much. It is like, I every part of me wants to crawl out of that and for it to just be January 1st or whatever. So it's all the parties, all the things are done. And then I also realize I have a lot more control that, you know, it's like I don't have to wait. You know what I mean? I don't have to like overindulge in everything. But I think because if I have a more positive baseline, anytime I switch that and it goes to a little too much negative, it's very clear that I want to get back to that positive baseline, feeling better.
And you know that because you've been there before. And you keep, like, you're somebody who's very clear when things are going, I mean, if we talk about it, but I think sometimes we can live our lives so fast that you're not even present when things are going good.
Yeah.
And so you
Are
haven't
you good?
You haven't reinforced that. Good. I'm joking.
I'm worried. There's been a lot of that
I know.
today.
I don't know.
That's all right. Okay.
My weekend. That's what it is.
There we go.
He's trying to come out of me in all ways. No, I was
smoking joints
I
or
got golden lungs. We don't smoke over here.
Okay.
Still trying to be a track star in these old days.
Hey, 12.5 miles an hour jog
Bringing it back
is
around.
just nailing it. Did your dad ever get back to you, by the way?
No, Dad. I swear it's a whatever Kawasaki something like you said.
Yeah, wow.
I'm gonna say Dad.
I
I'm
feel
in
like
the
your
middle of
dad's a
podcast.
little fancier than what I'm looking at.
Well, I think he used to have a BMW bike.
Yeah. So those are fancy.
Okay.
I mean, not because your dad is like elitist or just, he's like established motorcycle rider. Like
My dad's skin would crawl if you called him an elitist. God.
Thank God
My
I
dad is the type of guy that drove around Geo Metro my whole life just to be like, I am not one of those. And no
Yeah.
knock to Geo Metro.
Sure.
That's just like
shout out to
like,
Geo Metros.
Yeah, like no material goods for me.
Yeah.
But he's the king of material goods. Dad, I love you. That's where I got my shopping from.
Well, I'm very intrigued now. And
Sorry.
the more support groups I have for this, the more resources I have, the better for my motorcycle diaries.
I got to hook you up with my dad. He is literally, that is what he
great.
does
Yeah, that's so fun.
or has done for many, many years.
Yeah.
He's gone all over motorcycling.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It came back to the motorcycle.
Oh, here we go.
I think we should honestly, we had other things to talk about, but like we're at an hour, which is crazy. I feel like,
Gosh, we are so chatty.
I know. It could go on. I'm always like, oh, I don't know if we can do an hour. And then here we are. We're like almost right at an hour. And now I'm like, content though is so valuable.
Yeah.
You don't want to just
Give people
leak it all out.
everything.
So I have to feel like we have other things to talk about that we're going to maybe hit on. We'll just do it in a future episode.
And I don't even remember what we were going to talk about.
That's good. That's better.
Good. Let's leave it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we wrapping it?
Yeah, let me think. Anything else going on? Hold on. Let me check my notes.
While you check your notes, I'm just going to remind everyone, we so appreciate the reviews that are coming in. It is so exciting to hear from the team. Mike now can believe that people listen. I still can't believe people tune in and listen to us. And it is so fun to read what you guys have to say about the show. Like
Yeah.
we really are pouring our heart and soul into this and, trying to show up and be very open and vulnerable. I told you all about a deep, dark secret about my misspelled tattoo today.
Yeah, that's major.
And major. I'm going to totally regret that in a little while. But no, actually not, because I love showing up to this space.
Yeah.
And anyways, just circling back around, Bird Walk for today is our theme. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So if you have a second, can you please leave us a review? They really do matter. We really read every single one, and they give us like motivation and fuel to keep going.
Gets us up in the list, so we pop up on the radars, which is
That's
good.
what reviews do too?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, when you're like higher reviewed or higher rate, like when you get more ratings, then like you can pop in a different little like suggested,
my
podcast
gosh,
listens.
team.
I know, which is
Help
what
us
happened
out.
to a YouTube video. It didn't get like crazy amount of views, but it got into sort of YouTube's algorithm, and then it gets spun
Team,
up. So yeah.
Can you please help us?
Yeah, hook us up. We need your help. We need a review. We need
We
a rating.
need our first sponsorship, and they
Yeah.
won't sponsor us.
Yeah, we don't have one yet. We talk about a lot of things that should sponsor us, but so far, it's all out of the goodness of our
Man.
buzz.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we want to touch on?
No, that was it, really.
All right.
I'm stoked on it. KaisaFit.com/ask. Also for, questions for future podcast episodes.
Questions, topics. Mike and I are always like, what should we talk about? What should we talk about? We'd love to have a backlog of things that you want us to talk about or
Yeah.
chat about, or if there's certain people that you want us to bring on. We're working on having more guests. So team, we appreciate you. We always appreciate hearing from you. We appreciate that you're tuning in. Mike, I appreciate you.
Likewise.
So good to be back here. I feel like we missed an episode, but it wasn't. It was really with my uncle. But that was you and I missing a chat.
And then we had like a little break and
yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
We're
things
back,
are a little
though.
wild in the summer. Scheduling has been kind of crazy, so it does feel like we've been on a big break. Actually,
Yeah, we're on a roller coaster ride, but you probably are too, team. All right, team, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you back on the Kaisa Show very soon.
peace.